At this exact moment, while you're watching this video, more than 100 million barrels of oil are being extracted, refined, transported, and sold around the world. This represents a financial movement of approximately $8 billion in just one day. To put this in perspective, this daily amount could buy all of Netflix's shares or build 10 stadiums like the most expensive ever constructed in history. But here's the real shock. Oil isn't just a commodity, it's the most powerful economic force on the planet, moving more than $4 trillion annually. That's more than Germany's GDP, the world's third largest economy. A single $10 fluctuation in barrel price can transfer $300 billion between countries in a matter of weeks. Imagine a substance so valuable that wars are fought over it, governments rise and fall because of it, and fortunes worth trillions of dollars are literally built upon it. Welcome to the universe of black gold, where a single oil field discovery can be worth more than all the gold reserves in Fort Knox, and where decisions made in boardrooms can affect gas prices at your corner station within hours. Get ready to discover how this viscous, dark liquid became the most valuable substance on Earth, controlling economies, shaping geopolitics, and creating some of the largest fortunes in human history. The transformation of oil from a geological curiosity into a trillion-dollar machine began in 1859, when Edwin Drake drilled the first commercial oil well in Pennsylvania. At that moment, no one could imagine they were unleashing an economic force that would completely redefine human civilization. John D. Rockefeller was the first to understand oil's true financial potential. In 1870, he founded Standard Oil, which quickly became the first oil empire in history. Through aggressive acquisition strategies and refinery control, Rockefeller controlled up to 90% of the American oil market, accumulating a fortune that, adjusted for inflation, would exceed $400 billion today. The discovery of oil in the Middle East in the early 20th century changed everything. The Ghawar field in Saudi Arabia, discovered in 1948, contains estimated reserves of more than 75 billion barrels, an underground treasure valued at approximately $6 trillion at current prices. This single discovery transformed a desert kingdom into one of the world's richest nations. The oil crisis of 1973 demonstrated for the first time the absolute economic power of black gold. When Arab countries embargoed exports, oil prices quadrupled overnight, transferring more than $200 billion from consuming to producing countries in just a few months. This was the largest wealth transfer in modern history up to that point. The journey of oil from Earth's depths to becoming the planet's most valuable commodity is a process that combines advanced science, precision engineering, and logistics on a trillion-dollar scale. It all begins with exploration, where companies invest billions in three-dimensional seismic technology to map underground reservoirs. A single deep-water exploration campaign can cost more than $500 million, but discovering a major field can be worth hundreds of billions. ExxonMobil spends approximately $3 billion annually on exploration alone, searching for the next underground treasures. Drilling is where the numbers truly impress. A deep-water oil platform costs between $3 and $5 billion to build and can drill to depths exceeding 10,000 meters, deeper than Mount Everest's height. Each day of operation for one of these platforms costs approximately $1 million, but can extract oil worth $50 million daily. The refining process transforms crude oil into products that drive the global economy. A modern refinery costs between $10 and $20 billion to build and can process up to 800,000 barrels per day. Each barrel of crude oil, costing about $80, is transformed into refined products worth approximately $95, a margin that generates billions in annual profits. Oil transportation is a logistical operation of epic scale. Supertankers costing more than $200 million each transport up to 2 million barrels per voyage. The global pipeline system represents investments exceeding $1 trillion, moving oil across entire continents with military precision. Before we continue exploring the trillion-dollar secrets of this fascinating industry, we really want to know from you. From what place in the world are you watching? Comment down below. Your comments are essential for us to continue bringing incredible content about how the things we know are made and the gigantic economic impact they have on the world. Share this video with friends and family. I'm sure they'll be as impressed as you are with these astronomical numbers. And don't forget to subscribe to the Factory Made channel so you don't miss any revelations about the industries that move trillions. The oil industry represents the pinnacle of technological innovation, where each advancement can be worth billions of dollars and redefine global markets. The technologies developed to extract oil are so advanced, they make space exploration seem simple in comparison. The fracking revolution completely transformed the industry, unlocking trillions of dollars in previously inaccessible reserves. This technology, costing approximately $5 million per well, uses extreme hydraulic pressure to fracture rocks kilometers deep. The United States invested more than $200 billion in fracking over the last decade, transforming the country into the world's largest oil producer and adding more than $2 trillion to the American economy. Horizontal drilling represents another billion-dollar innovation. Wells that can extend more than 10 kilometers horizontally allow access to reserves that would previously require hundreds of vertical wells. Each horizontal well costs between $8 and $15 million, but can extract up to 10 times more oil than conventional methods, generating returns of hundreds of millions over its lifetime. Artificial intelligence is revolutionizing oil exploration. AI systems costing tens of millions to develop can analyze seismic data in real time, identifying reservoirs with over 90% accuracy. Shell invested more than $200 million in AI for exploration, resulting in discoveries that added more than $50 billion to their reserves. Autonomous underwater robots, costing up to $20 million each, operate at depths where pressure would crush any conventional equipment. These robots can work continuously for months, performing maintenance on underwater equipment worth billions of dollars, ensuring production never stops. In the world of oil, where a single failure can cost billions of dollars and cause devastating environmental disasters, quality control isn't just important. It's a matter of economic and environmental survival. Each barrel of extracted oil undergoes laboratory analyses costing thousands of dollars, determining its exact chemical composition. Different types of oil can vary in value by up to $20 per barrel, depending on their quality. North Sea Brent oil, considered premium standard, commands prices up to 15% higher than Venezuelan heavy oil, a difference that can represent billions in annual revenues for producing countries. Real-time monitoring systems, costing hundreds of millions of dollars, watch every aspect of production. Sensors costing up to $100,000 each detect microscopic leaks before they become billion-dollar disasters. The Deepwater Horizon spill cost BP more than $65 billion, an expensive reminder of the importance of quality control. Refinery laboratories use mass spectrometers costing millions of dollars to ensure refined products meet exact specifications. A difference of just 1% in gasoline octane can affect prices by billions of dollars globally. Refineries invest more than $100 million annually in quality control to ensure each product meets rigorous international standards. Reserve certification is a process that can be worth trillions. Specialized auditors charging millions per evaluation determine how much oil actually exists in a field. A re-evaluation of Saudi Arabia's reserves could affect global prices by tens of dollars per barrel, transferring trillions between world economies. The oil industry faces the greatest economic paradox in modern history: how to maintain a $4 trillion machine running while the world demands transition to clean energy. The solutions are redefining not only how oil is extracted, but how trillions are invested in sustainability. Carbon capture technologies represent investments of hundreds of billions. ExxonMobil plans to invest $15 billion by 2030 in low-carbon projects. Norway's Equinor has already invested more than $2 billion in carbon capture and storage, removing more than 1 million tons of CO2 annually. an investment that could be worth tens of billions if carbon credits become mainstream. The transition to low-carbon oil is creating new trillion-dollar markets. Oil extracted with renewable energy can command premium prices of up to $10 per barrel. Saudi Aramco invested more than $20 billion in solar energy to power its operations, reducing costs and creating a competitive advantage that could be worth hundreds of billions. Reforestation and environmental compensation programs consume billions annually. Shell committed to spending more than $100 billion by 2050 on natural climate solutions. These investments aren't just environmental, they're strategic, positioning companies for future markets that could be worth trillions. The circular oil economy is emerging as a trillion-dollar opportunity. Plastic recycling technologies derived from oil can create $500 billion markets. Companies that master these technologies first could capture value equivalent to the largest oil discoveries in history. The oil industry faces challenges that cost trillions of dollars and require equally monumental solutions. Each obstacle overcome can represent the difference between prosperity and economic collapse for entire nations. Price volatility is the greatest trillion-dollar challenge. A fluctuation of just $10 per barrel can transfer $300 billion between producing and consuming countries. Saudi Arabia maintains financial reserves of more than $500 billion specifically to navigate these fluctuations. Norway's sovereign wealth fund, fed by oil revenues, has accumulated more than $1.4 trillion to protect the country's economy against price shocks. Geopolitical sanctions represent another billion-dollar challenge. When Iran was sanctioned, it lost more than $100 billion in annual revenues. Russia, facing recent sanctions, saw its oil revenues drop by more than $200 billion annually. Companies invest billions in geographical diversification to mitigate these political risks. The most ingenious solution was creating strategic oil reserves. The United States maintains more than 600 million barrels in strategic reserve, worth approximately $50 billion. This reserve can stabilize markets during crises, protecting trillions in economic activity. Financial hedging technologies allow companies to protect billions against price fluctuations. Oil futures contracts move more than $2 trillion annually, allowing producers and consumers to lock in prices years in advance, stabilizing trillion-dollar cash flows. While most people associate oil only with fuel, the reality is that this $4 trillion industry permeates virtually every aspect of modern life, creating value chains that extend across dozens of economic sectors. Approximately 15% of world oil is destined for petrochemicals, an industry that alone moves more than $500 billion annually. From plastics costing pennies to medicines worth thousands per dose, petrochemical products are in everything. A single petrochemical plant can cost $10 billion to build, but generates products that feed trillion-dollar industries. The pharmaceutical industry fundamentally depends on oil derivatives. More than 90% of medicines contain petrochemical components. The global pharmaceutical market of $1.5 trillion simply wouldn't exist without oil. Every aspirin, every antibiotic, every vaccine has oil in its production chain. In the transportation sector, which moves more than $7 trillion globally, oil is absolutely fundamental. Commercial aviation consumes more than $200 billion in fuel annually. Maritime transport, responsible for 90% of global trade, depends on oil-derived fuels to move goods worth $14 trillion annually. The advanced materials industry represents an emerging market of hundreds of billions. Carbon fibers, high-performance polymers, and composite materials, all derived from oil, are essential for aircraft, electric cars, and medical equipment. Boeing uses more than 50 tons of oil-derived materials in each commercial aircraft. The future of the oil industry promises transformations that could redefine how trillions of dollars are allocated in the global economy. Far from being a declining industry, oil is evolving to become even more valuable and strategic. Demand for petrochemicals is growing exponentially. Projections indicate that petrochemical consumption could double by 2040, creating additional markets worth $1 trillion. Companies that master the transition from fuels to chemicals could capture value equivalent to the largest oil discoveries in history. Synthetic oil technologies are emerging as a trillion-dollar opportunity. Processes that convert CO2 and hydrogen into synthetic fuels could create $500 billion markets, allowing the oil industry to become carbon neutral while maintaining its economic relevance. Ultra-deep-water exploration is opening trillion-dollar frontiers. Reserves at depths exceeding 3,000 meters could contain more oil than all terrestrial discoveries combined. Technologies to access these reserves require investments of hundreds of billions, but could generate trillion-dollar returns. Space oil represents the final frontier. Hydrocarbon-rich asteroids could contain more energy than all terrestrial reserves. While still speculative, companies are already investing millions in space extraction research, anticipating markets that could be worth quadrillions in the distant future. We've reached the end of an extraordinary journey through the most economically powerful industry in human history. A $4 trillion machine that literally fuels modern civilization. Oil has revealed itself to be much more than a simple commodity. It's the lifeblood of the global economy, determining the fate of nations and shaping humanity's future. From Earth's depths, where millions of years of geological pressure created these liquid treasures, to ultra-modern refineries that transform them into thousands of essential products, each step represents trillion-dollar investments and innovations that redefine what's possible. We've seen how a single discovery can be worth more than an entire country's GDP, and how technologies costing billions are developed to extract every drop of value from this black gold. The financial complexity of this industry is impressive. From the $5 billion invested in a single offshore platform to the trillions moved daily in global markets, each number tells a story of human ambition, technological innovation, and economic power concentrated on a planetary scale. The future promises to be even more spectacular, with trillion-dollar petrochemicals, carbon-neutral technologies, and even space exploration redefining how we think about energy and materials. This isn't just the story of how oil is extracted. It's the narrative of how a viscous liquid became the most powerful economic force on the planet, capable of moving trillions of dollars and determining the destiny of human civilization. Wow! What an incredible journey we just took together through the trillion-dollar backstage of the oil industry. Now we really want to know, which number impressed you the most? The $4 trillion moved annually, the $8 billion in daily transactions, or perhaps the trillions in future investments in clean technologies? Comment below with your impressions, and, especially, from which city or country you're watching. It's incredible to know that our factory-made community spreads across the world, united by curiosity about how the things we know are really made and the monumental economic impact they have. If this video opened your eyes to the trillion-dollar secrets behind black gold, imagine how many other gigantic industries exist out there with equally fascinating stories. Share this content with friends and family. I'm sure they'll be as impressed as you are with these astronomical numbers. And don't forget to subscribe to the Factory Made channel and hit the bell to not miss any revelations about how trillions of dollars are moved behind the scenes of the industries that shape our world. What other trillion-dollar industries would you like to see unveiled here on the channel? Special thanks to the world's leading oil companies, energy research institutes, and financial analysts who, through public reports and available documentaries, made it possible to unveil the trillion-dollar secrets behind this industry that literally moves the world. We also thank energy specialists and economists whose meticulous work allowed us to present precise numbers about this $4 trillion economic machine. And of course, our biggest thanks go to you, our incredible factory-made audience, who dedicate your time to discover with us how the things we know are really made and the colossal economic impact they have on the world. Without you, these trillion-dollar revelations would have no meaning. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep discovering with us the secrets that shape our global economy. Until the next Factory Made episode, where more impressive financial revelations await you. Research and script, Factory Made Team Economic Analysis. The next time you fill up your car or use any plastic product, remember, you're interacting with the result of an industry that moves more money in a week than many countries produce in an entire year. Every drop of fuel, every petrochemical product reflects trillions of dollars, decades of innovation, and the extraordinary power of human ingenuity to transform ancient organic matter into the most powerful economic force on the planet.